Farney puts this one into the outfield. That's back. Smith Johnson gets under it. Harms tagging up. The throw. It's going to be close. And the Rockers win it! The RBI sacrifice fly from Seth Farney gives Green Bay the miraculous come-from-behind victory here at Capital Credit Union Park. The Rockers take down the league best Woodchucks 7-6 on a walk-off from Seth Farney. LaVue launches this one into the outfield, and that one's out of here. Call him Denzel Washington because he just delivered the equalizer. 6-6 ball game off the bat of Mulavai LaVue. And Schultz makes contact with this one down the right field line. Is it going to stay fair? Oh my goodness, what a catch! Parker Picot flying out of the air and robbing the Rockers of a potential rally. Opiola trying to reel it in, but instead Harms gets every bit of that baseball and more. Make it 10 home runs on the summer for Nick Harms, and he brings the Rockers within 3. Galvin rips this one into the glove of Sam Miller. The throw over to first is in time. A web gem from Mr. Miller. Gets the first out on the board and does it in style. For a second in the league in home runs, pick up 3 more here today. Torres, is that going to be another? Yes, it is! Lucas Torres gives the Rockers a 7-6 lead with his 4th home run of the summer. My goodness, we've got a ball game. Far as this could be a leadoff single. Is it going to be, though? No, sir! What a throw from Cal Fisher. The shortstop ranging across his body and picking up a highlight reel putout. On deck. Doesn't get any easier as this one is crushed. Deep right field. Kiss that one goodbye. Chris Arroyo, home run number 7 on the season, and that might just be the dagger. 4 innings down here in Titletown as a new pitcher on the mound for Green Bay. Trey Pascal, a frequent face out of the bullpen. And he starts off with a 1-1 count after that fastball goes right in on the leadoff man, Preston Knott. Day over for starting pitcher Dylan Orr, and an up-and-down day to say the least. Only allowed 1 run on 2 hits, but 5 walks for Orr. Not ideal. Still, the Rockers put up 3 in the last inning, and now they're in the driver's seat.
Definitely one where, if you just were to look at the stats, you might think Orr had a very impressive outing. I mean, 4 innings, 2 hits, and just 1 run allowed. That, on paper, looks like a great outing, but you take into account the 5 walks and the struggles in 2-strike counts, or even getting to 2-strike counts, and may not have been his most productive day, but has held Green Bay to just 1 run allowed and has been a big part of why they now hold a 2-run lead.
So that gives us a little bit of time to talk about Pascal, who's into the game. Has made plenty of appearances out of the bullpen for the Rockers, a senior out of Southern Arkansas, and he's been a very stabilizing presence for this Rockers side, Colin.
And after the first pitch strike, 3 straight balls from Pascal, so struggling to find the zone.
Pascal can't find the zone right there, so Preston Knott will walk for the 2nd time tonight.
And you can see this is the 2nd time a batter has had to wait and was unsure of if the walk was given. It's stuff that looks like strikes, and they are fully prepared to face a full count, but they're given their base. It happened to Sam Miller back in the 2nd inning, but happening to Knott once again.
So a leadoff runner on, and it's Preston Knott, who has double-digit steals on the summer, 2nd on the Dock Spiders with his 11 thefts. And interestingly enough, Colin, 8 of his 11 stolen bases for Knott have come against the Rockers in 7 games against Green Bay. You can see that Pascal very cognizant of Knott over there on first. Meanwhile, Caden Shapiro in a 1-0 count at the plate.
Takes that one right down Central Ave for strike number 1, evening the count on the Princeton Tiger.
Shapiro, one of 2 batters that Orr managed to strike out, went down in 3 pitches looking in the first inning.
1-1 on Shapiro now. Pascal, off speed, catches Shapiro swinging. A big breaking ball from Pascal.
And though Pascal's bread and butter is the high-speed fastball, the breaking ball is a great contrast pitch, one he has a lot of control over and one that really throws batters for a loop.
Goes with the fastball, this time high in the zone, but Shapiro able to catch up to it just enough and keeps the count alive.
Wouldn't be surprised if Pascal isn't able to reach those high 90s. I've had a few conversations with him where he says, if I'm brought in the late stages and just am tasked with finishing this game, I will get up there and crank as many fastballs as I can. But in a position where he has to make a long relief stint, he'll go to that curveball, the off-speed, more to preserve himself and ensure that he can make these long stretches that is required of him.
We'll see what he goes with here on the 1-2 count. It's a high fastball. Easy take there for Caden Shapiro as Blade Carver sprung up out of his stance, very aware, as is Pascal, of not over on first.
And that's the other thing Knott has to be cognizant of is if Pascal is able to reach these high numbers on the fastball, it's very easy for him to get caught if he takes too big of a lead.
Pascal last time out was on July 14th right here against the Wausau Woodchucks. Struck out 2 batters and saw only 6 batters, retired all 6 of them, trying to avoid putting the first 2 batters he sees today on base. And that is going to be the case. A walk for Caden Shapiro to put him on the base path for the first time tonight, and back-to-back walks for Trey Pascal to get things started.
That's 7 for Green Bay tonight, 12 in the entire game. That strike zone not doing any favors for either side.
You can see now a quick talk between Blade Carver and Trey Pascal. 2 runners on in Shapiro and Knott, and the most productive Doc Spider against Green Bay all season. Tyler Nisus steps up to the dish right now. Nisus, 1 of 2 hits tonight, and that's his 13th hit on the summer against Green Bay in just now 8 games.
His on-base streak we talked about in the pregame show, now at 29 after singling in the first inning. But being able to get on and put some more Doc Spiders into scoring position will be his ideal goal.
That first pitch, fastball, just outside for ball number 1. You can see Knott eager to get over to third if he has the ability to. Go-ahead run at the plate in Tyler Nisus. Makes contact with this one, a chopper over towards Adderley. The throw on the run is there in time to Matthews, but both Doc Spiders on base advance into scoring position.
And for Green Bay, at this point, you're up 2. You're just looking for that first out. They hadn't been able to pick it up. Dalen Adderley makes the easy play. Now there's no forces, and the Rockers have a potential to pick up another easy force out at first and try to hold Knott at third, since there isn't anybody else there to force him to go.
And I know Adderley is probably more naturally an outfielder, but he's looked so comfortable over on second base, that play included.
Had a huge leaping grab on the road last night, showing off the athleticism a little bit, doing it once again tonight in a different capacity, but we'll need a little bit more of it if Green Bay is going to get out of the inning.
Breaking ball from Pascal. Can't find the zone, and it's quickly 2-0 on the cleanup man, Tyler Stack, who's 0 of 2 today, 1 of 2 batters that struck out against Dylan Orr, and this is a common theme, just lots and lots of called balls. Make it 3-0 on Stack. Pascal at risk of loading the bases here with just 1 out. breaking ball. Or more of a changeup, rather, but either way, it finds the zone, and that's something that Pascal is happy to have.
But a lot of 3-1 counts for both Orr and Pascal. Pascal walked both his batters with 1 and 2 strikes respectively. Respectfully.
A swing and a miss from Stack makes this a full count. Had the hitters count and really tried to take advantage.
Thought Pascal was going to go for a fastball, and you can see just the kind of damage he's able to do when batters are sitting on that high 90s fastball. And if he goes to that breaking curveball, the damage that it can do.
Payoff pitch for Pascal. Could be a big out for Green Bay. But won't give. Close call at the plate. Loads the bases for the Dock Spiders. And with 1 out, Fond du Lac starting to cook here with one of their best batters coming up to the plate. Also worth noting, that's 3 walks in the first 4 at-bats for Pascal, but you don't really see much concern from the Rockers coaching staff. Ford Ladd hasn't come out yet for Green Bay. You wonder if he's just almost accepted the fact that the strike zone is an issue as Pascal gets that one right back. The force out at home is there. The throw to first. Matthews makes the grab. How about that? A 1-2-3 double play to end the inning, and that will send us to the bottom of the 5th here on the Northwoods League Sports Network. After a 1-2-3 inning for the Mallards on offense, they'll take defense and get a look at the top of the order for Green Bay with McCunny Tanaka, Sam Miller, and Dalen Adderley. 3 guys that are all batting above 300. As you can see, the first 5 over 300 for Green Bay's batting order. And Lane Allen not far behind at 290. Tough order to crack if you're the starting pitcher tonight, Matt Saucer out of Florida State.
Saucer's infield behind him, headlined by Cal Fisher, our player to watch coming into today. Fisher, pair of hits, one of those, the go-ahead RBI double in the 9th to help beat Kenosha as Saucer gets started with Tanaka.
Saucer has made 2 starts and crossed 3 games, just 5 2/3 of an inning pitched for the Mallards, freshman out of Bloomington, Illinois. Quickly behind 2-0 on 2 close calls, home plate umpire William Jett, over on third Brandon Wells, and the crew chief Shep Martin at first. Tanaka on the 2-0, takes the hitter's count for a foul ball, and that's the first strike of the night for Saucer. Tanaka batting .300 on the nose. Went 1 of 5 last night with a double against Lakeshore. That one way upstairs, hitter's count.
One thing Saucer's looked at, and it's just been 4 pitches, he's come out firing, only taken about 5 seconds for each pitch to get it loaded, make a decision, and get it in the catcher's glove.
Well, this one gets in the catcher's glove, but the catcher's glove way above the strike zone once again. So a 5-pitch walk, not the start that Saucer wanted. And McCunny Tanaka, who has 6 steals in 14 games, will take his base.
And also a huge speed threat, not just because of the 6 steals, but an extra base merchant so far here for Green Bay. Led off with a double in Lakeshore last night. Really goes to show the speed that he has, even if the stealing numbers aren't as high as some of those other guys in the league.
Well, they were going to try to put that speed on display, Green Bay was, as Sam Miller, threatening to lay down a sac bunt, instead notices the pitch is high. Another one above the zone from Saucer, and it's 1-0 count. You can see Tanaka taking a pretty big lead over there as the pitch from Saucer settles into the zone, and that's his first strike thrown of the day.
That was a lot of late break on that pitch. Looked really high, forced Miller to sit off of it as he takes that one deep.
Miller into the left center gap. That'll drop, and that one's going to go back to the warning track. An early score for Green Bay. Miller stays at second. It is an RBI double as McCunny Tanaka moonwalks onto home. Green Bay picking up where they left off last night.
And we talked about Tanaka's speed. Got a phenomenal jump on that pitch. Was going to steal anyways, and Miller puts that one deep into left center field. Tanaka, as you mentioned, walks basically backwards from third to home, and Miller had a chance to round for 3.
We've seen some of those go back there and on the turf here at Capital Credit Union Park, go over the wall on ground rule doubles. Miller will get a traditional double, Tanaka having fun early. Rockers up 1-0 as Dalen Adderley. First pitch he sees swung on, not new for him, with Miller over on second. And for Miller, that's a team high 11 doubles now on the campaign, passing Nick Harms. Both were dead knot at 10.
And it ties Nick Harms for most extra base hits on the team, both of them at 20 now on the season.
Miller gonna go. Adderley ducks down, and they're not even gonna contest that one. Miller also leads the team in stolen bases. That one his 21st of the summer.
And now Miller is in prime position for our player to watch. Adderley has 6 hits in the last 3 games, 4 of them for extra bases.
Well, the 1-0 whiffed on by Adderley. Very aggressive swing. Count now 1-2. Down to his last strike in this at bat. Souser looking for a big bounce back here with a second score, standing 90 feet from home. The 1-2 from Souser. Did that one get the stem of the bat? Yes, it did. So we'll redo the 1-2. Adderley gets another chance.
And Souser may have caught a break. Even if it is just a 1-2 count, Adderley held back on it. But good ball placement, whether he meant it or not, to bounce off of the bat and keep this at a 1-2 count.
Souser looking for the first out of the game. And did Adderley go around? Yes, he did. So it's a strikeout for Souser. His 7th of the summer, and a big one after giving up the RBI double to Miller.
So now tonight's catcher, who we already talked about a little bit on the defensive side, Jake Bold, a staple in the Rockers lineup, has gotten a lot of run as a designated hitter throughout most of the season, but taking his natural position behind the dish for Green Bay.
Bold looks off the first pitch he sees from Souser tonight. His Ivy League companion, Sam Miller, standing at third. The 1-0 from Souser. Down low, and a nice catch made behind the dish by Schroeder to keep that one in front of him.
And Schroeder's going to need to protect the plate from a defensive standpoint. Miller's already gotten 1 stolen base today, so anything past him has a chance to bring in the second run for the Rockers.
Location has been a bit of an issue here for Souser. And that pitch closer to the zone, but will still be ruled ball number 3, Jake Bold, with a very friendly count. Souser finds the zone on a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Maybe that'll get him back in this at-bat.
Bold was never really going to swing at that. He's also trying to feel out the home plate umpire's strike zone for a defensive purpose as well.
Well, Bold has to duck for cover there as he takes the 3-1 pitch and will get his base. Souser with 2 walks already through the first 4 at-bats, and that will prompt a, not going to prompt a visit, never mind, but either way, 2 walks, give him 9 now on the season. This is his 6th inning of work. Not a visit from the catcher, but a bit of a communication there between Schroeder and Souser. 2 guys who are both relatively newer to this team, which sends up Nick Harms.
If I had to guess, those 2 are just talking about the scenario. Runners on the corners with only 1 out. Jake Bold may try to move himself into scoring position as well. So perhaps just trying to rehearse what would happen, as a throw down could score Miller as well.
Well, another thing that could score Miller would be a hit from Nick Harms, and he's got plenty of them, batting .316 in nearly 50 games this summer with Green Bay. Takes the 1-0 down the middle for strike number 1. Didn't like what he saw right there. Harms, after a couple days away from the team, back in the lineup and trying to make an impact here. Swings through the 1-1 offering, and a chance for Souser to pick up out number 2.
Harms, we already talked about, has played in 6 games against the Mallards, batting just .235 though, 4 hits on 17 at-bats.
The 1-2 down low, a good take from Harms, who with all that power and all that aggression, still gets walked a very good amount, 30 walks in 46 games to just 37 strikeouts. Working at 2-2 now against Souser with runners on the corners. For another time, Souser sails that one, and it's a full count.
It really looks like Souser's having trouble with his release. He's missing really high a lot, so not sure what exactly pitch that is that he's looking to go to, but it has not been his friend today.
Well, Harms fouls back the payoff pitch. Will give himself another life, and for Souser at Florida State this past spring, made 3 starts, played 6 games overall, only 7 1/3 of an inning pitched, but had 7 walks in that time, so control through his first few games with the Seminoles and with the Mallards has been a bit of an issue. Payoff pitch, and Harms lines this one down the right field line, but it'll pull foul. That one could have been dangerous.
So Harms, even though he swung through one of those pitches, has not seemed to miss too much of a beat, looks still very comfortable in the batter's box.
Working a long at-bat right now. 3-2 once more, and Harms pops it sky high, being tracked down by the third baseman Hamilton. And he gets under it for out number 2, a big one for Souser and company.
So now a chance for the Mallards to leave 2 in scoring position for the Rockers. Miller been hanging out on third a long time. So now with Lane Allen, the third baseman, coming up to the plate for his first go-around, has played in 3 games against the Mallards. All of those coming on the road trip with that doubleheader in Madison.
And an unsuccessful road trip in Madison for the Rockers. Went 0-3 in that road trip, but not for Lane Allen. Had a pair of home runs in that series at the Duck Pond. Was one of the few bright spots for Green Bay, as he wanted another home run right there, but pokes it foul over the Bud Light Party patio that is packed to the brim tonight for Thirsty Thursday here at Capital Credit Union Park. Plenty of fans in attendance. They too know the gravity of this game. Rockers just 3 games behind the Mallards with about 10 to go in the playoff push. The 0-1, and that one's over the head of the shortstop, drops in front of Moreno, and another score will come in. RBI single for Lane Allen brings home Sam Miller, and it's 2-0 Rockers.
And now even if 2 Rockers get left on base, that'll leave the coaching staff and the entire dugout with a better feeling in their stomach that they didn't leave Miller standing on third, because Miller was there, the second man up, while Adderley was at the plate. No outs at that point, so being able to not leave him there for 4 consecutive batters would be a huge win for them.
Trying to keep the party going is Peyton Mansfield, who's playing at first base tonight, and will take ball 1. That one close to the zone. Souser's had a couple of those, but Jet, the umpire at home, not giving too much ground. Mansfield with 2 on, 2 down. And that one up near his head, has to duck back a little bit and gets a friendly 2-0 count for Mansfield. This is his 36th game of the summer, batting .221, but has 5 doubles and 4 home runs, so a lot of power possessed by the Jacksonville State Gamecock. Another one outside of the zone, and Souser having some real trouble finding it.
And especially for a guy like Souser, who has really not had the pitch placement you would expect from your starting pitcher, is not a great thing against Peyton Mansfield, because you don't want to leave anything sitting right down the middle, because as we've already talked about and as you've mentioned, a guy that packs quite a punch with his bat, a lot of home runs, a lot of extra base hits, and a big threat to score both runners on base. But clearly trying to test him and work around the zone and has not paid off for him.
Also for Souser, that pitch number 28, so quickly approaching that 35 pitch mark for a single inning before he would have to get pulled from this ball game. Bullpen already getting going for Madison. The 3-0 Mansfield off the plate, and it's bases loaded for Green Bay with a familiar face for some returning fans stepping up to the plate, Andrew Harris.
So now, even if Harris takes 3 pitches, as that now brings the pitch count to 32. If he stands up there, doesn't swing, he will retire Souser because he will be at 35 pitches exactly. But it'll be interesting to do for this returner making his return to the lineup tonight for the first time since 2023.
Takes strike one looking does Harris. You see the stats right there, all blank, but last year with Green Bay, played in nearly 30 games, hit 167, 3 home runs, and 12 ribbies. Breaking ball outside of the zone for Souser, and one more of those, and his night will be done after this inning. Bases juice for Green Bay.
Pitch 35 on the way from Souser. So his night will end after the first. It's just a matter of how much longer will it go. Will Harris be able to extend this inning, or can Souser finally get one back and escape the bases loaded jam?
Well, a good opportunity to do that right here with the 1-2. But Harris fouls it back. Harris out of UW Parkside within the state, though he is a native of Rockford, Illinois. Senior infielder who hit .415 with the Rangers this past spring. The 1-2 from Souser. And that one catches Harris looking. A big backwards K to strand the bases loaded, but not before Green Bay gets 2 across to take an early lead here on the Northwoods League Sports Network.